You have a power station at home, but you probably have no idea how long it will actually last. And during a blackout, that mistake could cost you an entire refrigerator full of food before morning. It's 2:17 a.m. The power has been out for 6 hours. Your phone is at 12%. The house is getting colder, and the refrigerator stopped humming a long time ago. Your power station still says 60%, so you plug in one more appliance. Suddenly, the remaining runtime drops from 8 hours to 45 minutes. That is the moment you realize the percentage on the screen never told you the whole story. There are 3 mistakes that leave people sitting in the dark, even though they thought they had plenty of backup power. And the first one is the mistake almost everyone makes. They look at the battery capacity, see a large number, and assume that means it can run the house for a long time. It doesn't. A power station's capacity is usually measured in watt-hours. Your appliances consume power in watts. Watts tell you how quickly energy is leaving the battery. Watt-hours tell you how much energy the battery stores. Think of the power station as a tank of water. A phone charger is a small faucet. A space heater is a fire hose. Both connect to the same tank, but one can run for days while the other can drain it incredibly fast. For example, imagine a power station with around 1,000 watt-hours of capacity. If you connect something that continuously uses 100 watts, the simple calculation suggests 10 hours. But you will probably get less than that because some energy is lost when the battery converts its stored power into the electricity used by household devices. The station's screen, cooling fans, internal electronics, temperature, and battery condition also consume or reduce available energy. In real use, that 10-hour estimate may be closer to 8 or 9 hours, and that is before you connect anything else. So the first rule is simple. Never plan around the advertised number alone, but that is only the first mistake. The second one can shut the entire system down in seconds. People assume that if the battery stores enough energy, it can power any device. But battery capacity tells you how long something might run. The inverter tells you whether the station can run it at all. Appliances such as refrigerators, freezers, sump pumps, microwaves, air conditioners, and power tools may briefly demand much more electricity when they start than they use once they are running. That moment is called a startup surge. Your power station might have enough stored energy to run a refrigerator for several hours, but if its inverter cannot handle the compressor's startup demand, the station may overload and turn off immediately. No gradual warning, no slow battery drain, just darkness and an error message. Before an outage, you need to know whether the station's continuous output and surge capacity can support the devices you actually plan to connect. And do not test that for the first time when a storm is already outside. Fully charge the station while the grid is working. Plug in the refrigerator, freezer, router, medical device, or whatever you consider essential. Let the setup run for several hours. Watch what happens when compressors and motors start. See whether the station becomes hot, activates its fans, shuts down, or drains faster than expected. A controlled test on a normal afternoon is much better than a surprise at 2 in the morning. Now here is the third mistake, and this is the one that wastes more backup energy than almost anything else. People try to power their normal lifestyle instead of powering the emergency. The lights go out and everyone immediately plugs something in. A television, multiple phones, a coffee maker, a microwave, a heater, maybe a portable air conditioner. Each device seems reasonable by itself, but together they can empty the battery before the outage has truly begun. A portable power station is not a magic replacement for the electrical grid. It is a limited energy reserve, and every watt needs a purpose. This is where the difference between essential and comfortable becomes important. Phones, basic lighting, refrigeration, communication equipment, and necessary medical devices are usually priority loads. Entertainment and cooking convenience may come later. Electric heating, electric cooking, water heating, and air conditioning can consume enormous amounts of energy. A typical electric space heater may draw around 1500 watts. Connect one to a 1000 watt-hour power station, and even if the inverter can support it, the battery may last well under 1 hour. The same battery could operate a small LED light for days. Same power station, completely different outcome. Ask yourself this: during a long outage, are you trying to keep the entire house comfortable, or are you trying to keep the household safe? Those are not the same mission. And once you understand that, planning becomes much easier. You do not need a complicated spreadsheet. Start with one question: what absolutely must stay powered? Let's use two common examples. Our refrigerator does not run continuously. Its compressor switches on and off, so its energy use changes throughout the day. A newer refrigerator in a cool kitchen with the door closed may use much less than an older unit in a hot room that is constantly being opened. The best way to know the truth is to measure your own refrigerator over a full day using a basic electricity meter. Then look at a device such as your internet router. It uses far less power than a heater, but because it may remain on continuously, it can still take a noticeable amount of energy over 12 or 24 hours. Once you know the daily use of those two items, you can quickly see whether your station is a one-night solution, a one-day solution, or only a few-hour solution. That is enough math for most households. The more important part is managing the load. Keep refrigerator and freezer doors closed. Use 1 or 2 LED lights instead of lighting every room. Charge phones in rotation instead of leaving everything connected all night. Turn off the router when nobody needs it. Use battery-saving modes. Wear appropriate clothing, use blankets, close curtains, or ventilate the home before relying on an electric heater or air conditioner. Every small change buys you more time. But there is another question most people forget. What happens when the battery reaches zero? A power station without a safe recharge plan is just a countdown clock. Depending on the situation, recharging may come from solar panels, a vehicle, another powered location, or a properly operated generator outside the home. Never use a fuel-burning generator, grill, or camp stove indoors, inside a garage, or near doors and windows. Carbon monoxide can build up without you seeing or smelling it. And never try to power your home by connecting a power station or generator to a wall outlet. That can send electricity backward through household wiring and create a deadly risk for utility workers, neighbors, and your own family. If you want to power selected household circuits, use equipment specifically designed for that purpose and have it installed correctly. I already separated the specific types of equipment that solve these exact problems: the right backup battery category, charging options, power meters, and the basic items that help stretch runtime. I put the list in the pinned comment so you do not have to figure everything out after the blackout has already started. There is one more thing you need to understand about the display on your power station. The estimated runtime is not a promise. It constantly changes based on the load at that exact moment. Connect only a phone and the screen may show dozens of hours. Turn on a microwave and it may drop to minutes. When a refrigerator compressor switches off, the estimate may jump upward. When it starts again, the estimate falls. Use that number as a live guide, not a guarantee. The only reliable estimate comes from testing your real equipment under realistic conditions. So, how long would a power station run your home? The honest answer is that it will not run a home. It will run a specific group of devices for a specific amount of time. A smaller unit may keep phones, lights, and communication working through the night. A medium system may support refrigeration and several small essentials for part of a day or longer. A larger expandable system, combined with a realistic recharge method, may protect essential loads for several days. But if you try to run electric heat, air conditioning, cooking appliances, and everything else as if the grid were still working, even a large battery can disappear surprisingly fast. Now go back to that house at 2:17 a.m. The refrigerator is silent. Your phone is low. The restoration time is unknown. In one version, the family sees 60% on the screen and assumes they have plenty. Someone plugs in a heater. Someone starts the microwave. The battery overloads or reaches 0 before sunrise. By morning, the phones are dead and the food is beginning to warm. In the other version, you already know your numbers. The refrigerator receives priority. One light stays on in the main room. Phones are charged one at a time. The router runs only when someone needs information. The battery lasts through the night. The food stays protected. And your phone is still working when the emergency alert arrives the next morning. Same house, same blackout, same power station. The only difference is the plan. Comment below with just one answer: refrigerator or heater. Which one would you save if you could only keep one running tonight? And if this video helped you think differently about backup power, give it a like and subscribe for more practical emergency preparedness without the extreme stuff.